Lola, let's do this thing. Come on, and boom! Welcome back to StrangerPalooza. I'm Hank Strange. This is Lola Strange. Absolutely. I know what your name is.
Okay.
All right. Today we are talking about our 2021 Coachmen Beyond, which you see right behind us. It's built, of course, on a 2020 Ford Transit chassis, and it's all-wheel drive. And we hit a milestone, Lola.
10,000 miles.
10K miles. And so today we're going to do our 10,000 mile follow-up on the Coachmen Beyond, and we're going to give you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get into it right now. Come on. Don't make the sound effects, Lola. I make the sound effects.
All right, go for it.
I already did it. Lola.
Right.
We're going to start from the outside. We're going to try to have some semblance of organization, I guess, to this.
All right.
So Lola is going to keep me on track. All right, so we're going to start from the outside of the van, work our way around, and then we're going to go inside the van. There is one thing I want to say to everyone out there first. We bought this van from Sunshine State RV, which is in Gainesville, Florida. In my personal opinion, they are probably the best place in the country for you to get a Class B van. That's all they do.
That is all they specialize in.
We lucked out with that, and we lucked out in several different ways. One, we're close to them, but two, those guys have become like good friends.
Oh, for sure.
Yes. Obviously, you guys see, or if you're new to this channel, you haven't seen it yet, but I make a lot of videos with Sunshine State RV. I don't work for them. We bought this van from them. This isn't a lease, nothing like that, but those are great folks, and I guess you guys can say that we have kind of like a
good relationship.
Yeah, unwritten, good relationship. I see those guys as family. They had a fish fry yesterday that I was hanging out eating fish over there.
Yeah, so I heard.
Yeah.
I was at work, so I missed out on that.
Yeah, so shout out to those guys. As well as Coachmen, we bought this van initially just because it's all-wheel drive, it's a Class B van, and it happened to be made by Coachmen, but in our, you know, I would say, like, in my opinion, I don't know, maybe yours might be a little different.
Well, in the time since buying it, Coachmen has come to become also a really good ally.
Yeah.
Friend.
Absolutely. They're a great company. They really care. I think in the whole company, like we were up there, and recently they had like a big rally for everyone that owns a Coachmen, whether it's a Class B van, a Class A RV, a trailer, whatever. But I think that Nick Recchio of Coachmen Class B, the manager of Coachmen Class B, I would say that we're friends. We did a factory tour. Yeah. We're kind of like unofficial brand ambassadors at this point for Coachmen. We really enjoy this product, and the customer service connected to that. We feel like those guys really care about the people who buy these vans after you bought it.
Yeah.
Yes. So, full disclosure. Let's get into more stuff now. You want to start with the popcorn sound?
I think we should definitely start with the popcorn sound and update folks on whether or not that continued, if it stopped, if it was a one-time occurrence.
So you want to take over the camera here?
Yeah, let me do that.
And what I'll do is I'll pop the hood here. There we go.
Remind folks what happened with that sound.
Yeah, so the story here, and there's a whole video if you guys want to get into it. We bought, very shortly after we bought the van, I think we were doing a drive maybe a couple of days after, and I kind of had the AC in the middle of hot and cold, you know, with the AC itself running, but there was some air coming in. You know, it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. I was trying to control it, and when we got here, there was this like sound of just like popcorn, I guess is the best way to describe it. But when we went into the engine bay here, what we realized, or what it looked like, is that there was condensation maybe coming from the AC unit. Right down there, you can see there's something that looks almost like a little bit rusty or whatever. I think that's what that condensation was falling on, and it was making a popping sound. So what I think was happening there is that the condensation coming off of the AC dripping was falling on whatever that is that's down there. I'm not a mechanic, but whatever that is down there is really hot, and the condensation was falling on it, and you were getting that popping sound of that droplet of water hitting and immediately exploding, right? So we had that time, and I think it happened one other time, like the next night. but I really haven't noticed it, you know, and it really hasn't been a problem. We never had any feedback from Ford on it. I did speak to Nick at Coachmen, and he said it's a thing that happens. I spoke to other people that have Ford, either vans and trucks and stuff like that, and they said it happens. But I don't really think it's a big deal. We haven't come across that again. The engine's been great. If you look at ours here, it's kind of dirty. It probably, you know, maybe needs some cleaning up. We do kind of like, we live out in the country and there's a lot of sand and dust and stuff like that here. But this engine has been pretty great. It's a V6 twin turbo. This is a very similar engine to what you would find in the Ford Raptor. And I really think it's amazing. So the only time I go in here is if I need to put windshield washer fluid or something like that in there, which I might have to top that off a little bit right now. But no more popping sound from, oh, I did not put that thing in properly. Hold on 1 second. One thing I've noticed is that if I do go in here, you see this? You gotta get this right in here like that, which I did. But for some reason, if you slam it, it knocks it out of there. So I'm not gonna slam it. I'm just gonna put it down like this, like a professional. Bam, there we go. It's in place. As I said before, we're gonna cover the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's not a lot of real ugly stuff when it comes to this van. I think probably, Lola, you'll agree, the ugliest thing is what we pay, etc., which we'll get into later on. But we're gonna, as we're going around the van, I'm gonna talk about the stuff I like, the stuff I don't like, the stuff I would change. That's why I'm saying the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think really this van is beautiful on the outside. I know that now it's all color coordinated with the bumper and everything, but I really do like the way it looks on the outside. But one thing I would complain about, Lola, lights. So this is on the Ford side. These lights are not very bright. So I think it's definitely not LEDs. No. So
the lights definitely need to be better. I agree.
Yeah, we either we want to do some kind of upgrade on that or something, right?
Yeah.
We'll do something like that. If you guys have good ideas for that, let us know. And you've probably seen me complain in a video I already have out with Rodell of Typhoon Adobo. Not a fan of this antenna, but that's no big deal. Mirrors and everything on this are great. I feel like there's great visibility, and these mirrors have a radar, a sensor in there, so it tells you, it gives you, it's like a blind spot warning back here, and it's better than I am, because you can ask Lola several times. I've been like,
it has saved us.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't see anyone back there. Lola's like, there's someone back there. I can see the thing flashing. But anyway, it's been pretty good. We'll talk about that when we get inside and when we're driving. The windows, like this window is a big window. Same thing other side, obviously, and the windshield is massive. So there's lots of light coming in here, which is great when you're driving for your view and all that kind of stuff. But I think that there's a downside to it. If you look at the outside of these vehicles, they do look great with all this glass. And in our case, this is all glass going all the way through. You'll see why I say that when we go inside. But these are the points where you're going to get heat or cold coming into the vehicle, right? So especially when you're driving, you know, we live in Florida, lots of sun comes in through these windows, and through this massive windshield here, you know, that's a thing. So I don't know, I haven't done anything with the windshield yet.
In terms of tinting?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do there, because it needs to really be effective. If you're on the road for like 8 hours, 10, 12 hours or something, that sun coming in there is rough. But what I did do is tint the side windows. So you'll see passenger, driver's side. I have tinted that to street legal, and that's very recent. So I'll come back to you guys and let you know what difference that's made. So continuing,
the door. One
of the things I would say that is going to be in the bad category. This door is heavy to move, and I'm trying to be a little bit dramatic with it right now, but it's really not easy. Like Lola has a tough time. Sometimes I do as well. This is not an easy door to open and close, and sometimes the suction in there works against you. So it would be awesome if this was powered. A lot of these are not. I have seen some of the newer vans that are coming out having powered doors, but I think with Coachmen you're not going to get that. Well, American Coach, I think, has power doors. So that's definitely, to me, a negative. I wish that there was something to help with this door, because it can really be tough. And if you're trying to get in and out of here with stuff yourself, it's not so easy. This is a dually. Here, let me show. So there's a couple of things you could tell that you're looking. If you're looking at a Beyond or a Transit, you can actually tell whether it's all-wheel drive. So all-wheel drive dually, as you guys can see there from the tires, right? So it's a dually tires on there. And when you have this big knuckle up front, this thing, that's the indication that you're dealing with all-wheel drive. What do you think about that, Lola? I know we'll talk about driving it later. I've allowed you to drive it one time.
One time.
Yeah. So okay. All-wheel drive to me is great. I'm really a fan of the all-wheel drive.
I would agree
on this.
with that.
And the dualies help out a lot with that as well.
Yep.
So I have no complaints. So I want to make this van into an overlander, and we'll talk about that maybe later as well. But we've kind of gone overlanding already with this van. We've been out to farms
we've parked in farms and
muddy terrain, and
terrain.
Yeah, never got stuck. Yeah.
So.
The big thing would be the clearance on it. You want to look at the clearance situation. So this is your exhaust for the engine back here. So that's what we're looking at right here. That's the exhaust, and this is your Agm battery, which I also want to talk about.
But first,
I think I want to change that. Yeah, and so if you,
with the generator.
Yeah, if you look at the generator under here, that and I'll show you guys that from the other side. But the generator is the green that you're looking at. This is the kind of clearance that you have in the back. There's a tire right there in the middle of the screen right now. That is the spare tire. For an overlander, clearance will be the thing. However, if we move around this van down here. I could say, let's go to here's the generator side, right? So this is the exhaust for the generator. Here's the generator. The big thing that Lola and I have been worried about is knocking all this stuff off if we back up, right? I think we've run into that, right?
Yeah, and you made it.
Yeah. When we talked to Nick about it, yes, they've in the past they've had some issues, and kind of what they do is they're building these vans out. When there's issues like that, they address it going forward. And with this, there is enough clearance. I have a picture that I'll roll in that we went to a gas station. It was a smaller gas station.
So
I had to
reverse parked.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about it until I got out, went into the gas station. I was coming back, and I was like, oh boy, this whole back part was hanging over the sidewalk.
The sidewalk, yep.
And I was like, man, I wonder if I did anything. And I went and looked under there. It was clear. Then when Lola came out, she's like, what are you doing?
I had the exact same thought when I looked at the van, yep.
So they have thought of that, and there is enough clearance for that. Maybe not as much as you would like if you're going off-roading. So that's something that I have to think about if I want to change that. I think I'm going to change the rims, and that's more for looks. But also, I might put some different tires on there. What do we have on there right now? Looks like we've got Dynapro HTs.
I don't know what size they are.
On there. They're 16. Oh, okay. 16C. So I actually found some rims for this from Method Racing. I think it's the R901s, which are for dualies. And I'm going to put those on. And initially, I'm just going to use these tires. And then I'm going to try to figure out what's the best tire situation for this. Before I keep going around that way, I want to come back to the back of the van here. We haven't used the bicycle rack yet. I was either thinking of modifying this, but actually what I did, because one of the things with this is storage, which we'll go over. And I'm thinking of trying to find some outside storage. So you can always do a roof rack, except that this has the air conditioners obviously up there and some other things, including the solar panels. I don't know if a roof rack is necessarily the best thing. Now, there's a couple of companies that make sort of a rack that goes on the back door. So Illumines makes one, and they call it the backpack. And it's a big piece of metal that goes back there. And then I think Owl Vans has the Sherpa. But they don't have that for the Transit. Illumines has the backpack, which is for the Transit. So I actually ordered one of those, and I put money down on that. I think I'll get it in September, and then I'll be able to hang some stuff off the back here for you guys. So let's go in. Oh, actually, before I even do that, one of the things I want to say is that once again, back here, big windows, which I love. It makes the van look great, right, Lola?
Right.
except it's just a big window all the way. So this is a place where sun will come in
and heat up this back area.
Yeah, there's no insulation in these doors either. So I've got to think about what I'm going to do with that. And I actually believe when we were on the factory tour at Coachmen, I think they've changed this.
They have. I think they've added padding to the back now, insulation.
Yeah, there's insulation and stuff like that going back there. So I would like to do something like that and maybe make the windows a little bit smaller so I can get more in. But one of the things, like, so to do the good, the bad stuff back here, we chose a rear bath, okay? So there's a lot of people have a big bench here that turns into a bed. But because we chose the rear bath, this is a big open, this is like the biggest space you could get. And to me, when we talk about the inside, I think that's great. I'm happy for it. We stash a bunch of stuff here. But what's happening with all of this going on, you don't really have a lot of good visibility out here. You can see like a little sliver of what's behind you. So we did do a 360 bird's eye view camera upgrade. And out here, I'll show you guys where the cameras are. There's one right there. So there's our regular backup camera. And then right next to it is the camera for the rear view.
Rear view.
Yeah, and it's from RVS, Rear View Safety. And they actually sent that out to us, and we'll have a video that we're going to put up on that here pretty soon. It's a great system. I'm really happy for it, and I'll show you guys. So visibility is a thing where we've already worked on that, I think, and done a good job. One of the good things I would say, Lola, this back storage that you have here, I like it. I don't know what you think.
Overall, I like the back storage for the RV side of cleaning is great, but I love the storage in the bathroom.
Inside?
Inside, yeah. With the rear bath. There's a lot of opportunities there. Whoa.
There goes the... Yeah, you might want to grab that when you open it up and down. This thing right here, I could say, is one of the things I'm not a super fan of.
Yeah,
I wish it was stronger. If you look right here at the edges, it's very easy for it to come off track. And then you have to like try to push it back in. But yeah, the storage back here is great. There's a ton of drawers
and cabinets
here,
in there.
and there's cabinetry. And right here, you can see it's dirty because I'm always throwing boxes. This is kind of like my daily driver now, and I'm always throwing boxes and stuff like that in here. And these help. What I wish there was some lights back here, and we have a kind of light thing we were trying to do. And we try to glue it back here, but with the heat, it doesn't stay.
It doesn't stay.
I think I need to actually screw it in.
Perhaps, but some kind of motion sensor lighting system would be great back here for nighttime.
Yeah, it would have been good. Yeah. I mean, what we got is relatively cheap. The thing that we got, I don't know if it's in there right now. We got it from Amazon. Yeah, we got something from Amazon, and I don't know whether or not we have it, but I'll share it with you guys. But I think back here, and even I like this lip that you can actually climb up on this lip.
Climb up on it, you can sit on it.
Yeah.
We've sat on it sometimes to work on things.
I think the best one is the rear bath. For me, like being a big dude, which I am a big dude, I like the rear bath. Lola, I don't know if she cares so much because she's a little Lilliputian type of person.
The rear bath, the issue with the rear bath is the bedding situation. That's like my only thing. I love the rear bath for the sides, for the bedding.
We'll talk about that when we get in here. Camera system has 4 cameras, so one on this side, one on the opposite side, the back, and then the front. But back here, Lola, I think all of this stuff is relatively easy to use. You know, the cable, we've never used. I've never used this. Honestly, this cable thing, Lola?
Right, we haven't used it.
I've never used that because, I mean, nowadays everyone...
With the internet, you know.
People have the internet. I wish there was a way, because when I do my podcast, I actually, before, like if a friend of mine has good internet, I could plug in through an Ethernet cable. It would be nice if I had that. This is like the city water connection, which we've used, and the fresh water, and then to the black tank flush, which is cool. And our black tank is right there in the back. So right here is our black tank, right next to the exhaust for the generator. Right there, and there's the handle to pull it out. This thing keeps the hose.
The hose compartment.
Yeah, and then there's our propane. This is all relatively easy to use, I think. And let me see, I'll show you guys a little bit of the generator over here. It's all relatively easy to use, Lola.
Yeah, I've done it. I've helped you to dump and clean it out and all of that. It's not a problem.
The only thing I could foresee is that it is tough sometimes just dragging all the things out of there, and it would be nice.
So low to the ground.
Yeah. Rodell's the one that was saying that a macerator would be easier here.
Because then the hose would just pop out every time back in.
Yeah. So I'm a fan of that. Here's the dualies on this side. I can show you guys. And then this is our gray is here. So some people have it's all one, but we've got our gray there because our sink is right about here.
Yep.
And then the black is back here because our bathroom is right here. So even though this is glass, behind this is the bath. It's the
shower stall.
Yeah, the shower stall enclosure. One of the things with this van that everyone says is that the generator is super quiet. And we bought this particular unit, I think when we were at Sunshine State, we were lucky when we were looking back then because there were lots of different options.
There were.
But this was the only one that was all-wheel drive.
Right.
And it happened to have a generator and Agm batteries. So that big battery on the other side I was showing you guys, that's the Agm. And I'm happy to have the generator. The thing is, I think AGMs, one experience that I have is that the AGM's not necessarily the best thing. And I'll explain that to you guys. You'll see when we go inside also, but if you have an AGM battery, in order to run, the AGM will only run the fan and the light off of that battery. And the thing about an AGM versus a lithium, if I was going to do this again, the one thing I would do different is get the lithium, except I would still want the generator. Difference between lithium and AGM. AGM batteries can only run down to less than 50%. And then all the battery management stuff will cut everything off. And we've run into that already, right, Lola?
Right.
So if you leave the fans on and the lights on and all that, and you're not, like the solar panels are just trickle charging. Eventually it'll run down, it'll get to a certain point, less than half, cuts everything off so that you don't damage the battery. If you had lithium, you can run that battery all the way down, almost to zero. Probably like you can run it down somewhere, I'm guessing, between maybe 1, 2, 3%, something like that. So you get more use out of lithium versus the AGM. And it also means if you have lithium, you can run your air conditioner, you can run your outlets and other things on lithium versus AGM, you cannot. So that becomes a pain if you're stealth camping, and for me, I'm working out of this van, and a lot of times in the daytime, I don't want to call attention to myself. Like everyone's out doing business and I might be parked in a parking lot somewhere, I don't necessarily want the generator running. So all of that long story, Lola, I'm surprised you didn't complain to me yet that I'm running a little bit long on that, to say that, and I'm pulling out my phone because there is an app for this. Actually, I'll tell you guys, it's the Vega Touch Mira app. And here's like my apps that I have on my phone.
Not very good with the sun reflection.
Yeah, I'll try to show you guys that. But anyway, so this allows me to actually start the generator. So everyone says when we do these videos, oh, the generator's so quiet you can't hear it running. So I'm going to run it from the outside right now. I'm going to start it, and then we're all going to sit here and have a moment of silence so we can hear it. Okay? I'm talking to me, Lola, because obviously I have to tell myself to shut up. So that is pretty quiet, right? You guys heard it, I think, and it is relatively quiet right now. It just started. It's not on the load yet. So when it starts up, it's relatively quiet, but you still hear it, okay? It's not, from the outside, it's not like super whisper quiet, nobody knows, but it is, what would you say, Lola? It is quiet.
It's quiet. It's quiet.
Yeah. So we'll let it run a little bit and let it get under load, and we'll see how that is, but I would like to really be stealthy. I would prefer to avoid that, and that's why I want to, see now it just kicked in and the AC is running now. And it kicked up, that's why it revved up a little bit there. Not bad. Should we let it run?
Yes, so the AC
okay.
can cool off.
Yes. Okay, so going back through here, this is the shore power, which has been good for us. Something happened and we actually, so if you notice, I think when we initially got this, Lola, our shore power, our 30 amp was silver.
It was black.
No, it was silver.
It was silver.
No.
And then we put it back to black.
No. It was silver initially. And then something happened with the generator, which we'll talk about. And when they replaced it, they put a white one there. And now we got a black one, which looks like the rest of the stuff. So that's, you know, but that's really, none of that's a big deal. This is so that if you wanted to plug in another solar panel, all of that spray port, all of that stuff is good. I think you're not a fan, you don't like this, you're not a big fan of the gas tank thing here.
I don't care about that.
Oh, you don't care about it? Okay, I like it.
That's about it.
To me, it's cool. You have to open the door in order to get to it, and then you could close it like that. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're gonna destroy. I've actually seen people driving transit vans, and that's broken. But I've managed to not break it, because see right there, it won't close. And then, I'm guessing if you try to open it like this, you know, that's how people wind up breaking it. But, yeah. So that's pretty good. Let's see. Let's show where the camera is up front. Here. So we put the camera here. I've got a whole video where we're talking about it. We wound up putting the camera here, and that creates the 360. If you guys can take a look, you'll see.
Okay, are we gonna sit in now?
Yeah, hold on. I just want to show people this. So this right here, that's our 360. So you'll probably see Lola walking around it there. So there's a bird's eye view, and then we have it set to the backup, but you can show the front or the different side. So we are going to go inside now. It's starting to get hot out here, but we're going to go inside the van, and we're going to get into the cabin now, and we're going to talk about driving this. I think we pretty much covered a lot of the stuff on the outside or whatever. I might upgrade the color a little bit. I like the matte colors that I see. So I like the silver. It's great. It's a good looking color. It's good, you know, it deflects a lot of light and stuff like that. I think it's better than having like a dark color here in Florida. But, you know, I got to make my thing look awesome. So let's go inside and talk about the driving experience. We're inside. The AC is running back there. I'm actually going to go into the app. I don't know whether or not you guys could see that, but you can actually go into the app. I can shut off the cool, for example. Turn that down to low. It just went down. And even kick it up so it doesn't shuts off altogether. So, and at some point here, it'll stop running. And let's do a moment of silence. This from up front. We'll do back there as well with the generator. But let's see how it sounds. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Up front here, it's not so bad. Alright, so I'm actually going to shut the generator off. That shuts everything down. So up front, when it comes to driving, and as we said in this video, we did 10,000 miles. I'm actually going to put this on. It's pretty easy to start. You actually don't even have to put your foot on the brake in order to start this up here. And let me see, Lola, I'll grab the camera from you. So here's the controls, and it's relatively easy to see. Like, there's your driver assist, your compass, all this stuff. I'm just manipulating this here. And then if we go up the other way from speed, which is where I usually drive, so I can see how fast I'm driving, this is the numbers. It's 351 hours on the engine altogether. It's 10,054.8 miles. And we've got about 67 miles to empty, and our average MPG is 12.7 miles per gallon. We're getting around, like, the best I've gotten is 13.5, I think. Okay. So we're, yeah, typically I get close to 13, like 13 or a little bit less. You know, I know there's people who say that they get like 15 all the time, 16 in that range. We haven't gotten that. This is all-wheel drive, which is not going to be as efficient. So maybe other people have rear-wheel drive. Maybe that's a little bit more efficient for them. I'm happy to make that sacrifice with this. And then one of the things I think with the efficiency that you see is that I run this AC up here a lot. When I'm doing the shows, for example, I'm sitting in the back.
Oh, that's true.
I don't use the generator or the AC because the AC makes too much noise and it gets on the microphone for me to do my podcast. So
we run this for 2 hours.
Yeah, I run the engine which is not necessarily the best thing to do, but I'm trying to find out what's a better solution for that. So if you have one, let me know. We'll talk about that when we get in the back.
Maybe that's
specifically.
where the lithium upgrade may help with that too.
It may help, but if the air conditioner is still loud, I don't know how much it helps. This has iPhone connectivity. So for example, you plug in, it has Apple Carplay, which works when you plug it in. I'll try to show you guys that. So if you plug in, you should get Apple Carplay here in a second. There you go. You know, so you can see your music, you can look at your you can look at like whatever you want to do with your Apple. Here's all the different apps and things like that. So you can look at your Ford app. The Ford Sync app is here. This is Sync 4, I believe, that we have in here. So I think this is great. It has its own navigation, all kinds of stuff. I prefer to use Apple CarPlay, to be honest with you guys, when it comes to that. I would say that AC and everything up here is really powerful. If we go to like, I mean, that kicks some breeze. Look, it's like
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really awesome. I really am a fan of this, you know. And if you shut off, like let's say I shut that side one off, this gets more.
Just kicks it up a notch.
Yeah, but it's really, this is a beast. This AC in this thing is a beast. And I'll turn it down just so people can hear us. But I think that's great. It's really, what do we want to talk about here in the notes?
How do you like driving it? What's the drive like?
How was it when you drove it that one time?
Yeah, that one time. All of one time.
It's easy to drive. I think it's really easy to drive. So it's all-wheel drive. It has the dualies, which helps carry all this heavy weight, and then there's sumo springs involved in it in this thing as well. I think that whole combination makes it really easy. There's a lot of driver assists. There is
right.
Yeah, there is auto start stop, which I'm not a fan of, but I leave it on because, hey, you know, in this case, I want to get as much efficiency as I can out of it. And there are modes. If you look here, there are some modes that you can go into for the vehicle. I haven't really even done all of that yet. I'll dig into that. And I think if you manipulate the modes where you could probably make this where it's acting more like a rear wheel drive, you could probably get some better efficiency that we were talking about. You could probably get, I've seen that if I put a higher grade, like usually I use regular, but if you use a higher grade, you get a little bit more efficiency. If you don't drive, you know, I like driving fast. So that doesn't,
that doesn't help anything.
Yeah, if you do all of those things, I think. But this is really easy to drive. The biggest issue that I had driving this, I would say, is the visibility. But the 360 system really helps that. And just to give you guys like a quick demo here, there's a remote. So I always have it defaulted to what's behind, but you can actually... So that's what's in front of us. You can go to what's on the left. You can go to what's on the right side. You can go back to the back. And then the other thing that we did with this system is that if I indicate that I'm going left, it switches and goes left. If I indicate that I'm going right, it automatically switches and goes right. We don't have that worked out exactly perfect. So if let's say I'm going left and I go on the brake, it kind of interrupts it. But we didn't follow the instructions that the guys gave us exactly. So but that doesn't really bother me. Bird's eye view here is amazing when we're driving, and I'll try to get you guys some footage of that. It really does help a lot. The other things I would talk about, like the way we have up front set up, I do have a radar detector. It's just an old radar detector. Some people say, why do you need that? Trust me, I need that. This thing hanging off here is for the 360 camera setup. I'm gonna find a better way to do that. I'm messing around with all that. I have something here. I have this Van Mass car holder right here, phone holder that holds onto my phone, and I think I'm actually pressing a button. But yeah, that's actually really great and convenient. We've got some other things, like you'll see I've got something to hold my phone if I'm putting it in a different place, or put a GoPro on because I make videos. And then right here is the jackery, which we actually keep up front all the time because I have it plugged in. So like right now, from using it last night, it's down to 88%. This is a Jackery 1000. This is one of the coolest things that I got for this, and it really tells me why I need a lithium battery. So when I'm doing my show, I have all that stuff in the back plugged in, and I keep it up front here because it's convenient to charge it while we're driving. But also Lola can plug in stuff like USB stuff here. She can plug in things that needs power, like her laptop and all that, while we're driving. It really is not in the way. It sits right there, doesn't move around too much.
And you still have access to get in and out.
Yeah. So, and I think like all of the controls that comes with this, like the cruise control is adaptive cruise control. So you can set it at a speed. If you're in traffic, it will slow down and even stop if you need to, and then start up again. It's got collision avoidance. All the nanny stuff I'm not a big fan of, but I think the adaptive cruise control helps on a long trip.
Yep.
Makes it easier. So
it's there if you like it. It's there if you want to use it.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
I can just say, so I'll show you guys right now. I'm going to shut this off and take out the keys, right? There's an app that Ford has for this that is, I'm not trying to tell you guys that it's the best thing in the world, but I think it's a really cool app, and I'm glad that Ford is doing it. It's called the Fordpass App. And it allows you to lock and unlock the doors. So I'm going to lock the doors right now. Press and hold. And it's working. So you could do this from anywhere. You don't have to be close to the van. Just locked it. As long as you have internet access, you could do it from anywhere. So if you went to work and you're like, oh man, did I even lock the doors? You can lock it. So now if you want to unlock it, press and hold. And it shows you like a check mark to say that it did it. So do an unlock. Unlocked it. Now we're going to do start. So you can start it, press and hold. I mean, that's cool. Come on. That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And then it says to drive, turn key on. So that's really, you can run the engine, and then you get this thing here. So you have to basically put the key in order to do that. But to me, that's all cool, man. I appreciate all that kind of stuff. I could shut it off from here too. It shuts off automatically in 15 minutes, but you can shut it off from this also. So if you're having dinner or something like that, see, you can name it whatever you want to. So mine's named Morgan, and it shows you a whole bunch of stuff in your vehicle. Like it shows you how much mileage you have left, the oil life you have remaining, the tire pressures. It's just totally ridiculous. So I think that's cool. I'm a fan of that. The other stuff driving up here that I think I would point folks out to, Lola, that I think is convenient. The handbrake, you could push it down when the handbrake is engaged like that, and it's still engaged. So you can have more room here to climb in and out. And then when you want to put it back, you pull it up like that, and then you would obviously put it down. Now it's disengaged, right? So and then you could put it back up there like that. So overall, I really do enjoy driving this.
All right. Well, with that said, let's move to the coach side.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Let's go to the back. All right. So after a long break, we're actually in the back of the van, and it's evening time now. What is it? Like around 7-ish or so, Lola? And we have the generator running, and we have the AC on, so you guys hear that. There's Lola sitting down, enjoying herself. So what I want to show you, like right now I have the AC set to 78, and the generator is on, as I said. You probably can't, I don't know, you're not going to be able to hear it in here. So I'm going to actually see if I could take this off cool. On low, I'm going to dial this all the way up so the AC goes off. Hold on. Okay, it's going to go off here in a sec. And I'll cut back to that. This AC is not really super loud. It doesn't really work for me when I'm doing the show, Lola, but it's not the fault of the AC, I don't think.
No, I don't find this AC to be loud or disturbing in any way. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But yes, I know during the podcast, if this is on, it gets on the audio, and then people may want to complain about that, so you do shut it off for when you go live.
Right. So let's see. We're waiting here for the... Okay. So, if you listen, you can hear the generator running. Can you hear that?
I can hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going through in the video, but I can hear it.
I think it probably is. Let me, I'm going to shut it off. So I can just shut it off from the control panel. Okay. So that's off. Okay. And I'm going to kick it back on so you guys can hear it start. Give it a, we'll give it a second here or two.
Sounds like a tractor.
So from that initial shutter, now obviously it was already running. Right? So it does do that initial shutter when it starts. And there you go. It's not really bad. Is it a super quiet, like whisper quiet generator? No, but I mean, I think I just wanted to make the point of the generator for anyone who really wants to know. And let me put everything back on here. It's probably a moot point because I really feel like most of these in the future here are not even going to have generators. And you're shaking your head, Lola. What's the problem?
A lot of time on this generator's noise.
Yeah.
You know how big a deal it is.
Yeah, I just think that's just for whoever wants to know. All right. So since we're obviously married and partners in everything that we do, I think it's better to just sit down, face you guys, and talk about some of the stuff. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly here.
At 10,000 miles.
Yeah, at 10,000 miles. Overall, I think the theme of this video is most things are good. There's some little things that, some little issues that we had on the inside of the coach here. I think we had issues with the AC.
At one time, yep.
And I think what happened with that, my recollection, is that the AC looked like the compressor wasn't working. So we went to Sunshine State RV. They actually got a new AC from Coachmen and put that in, and it seemed like it was working fine. And then I drove off, and by the time I got where I was going to, which was, I don't know, 45 minutes later, that air conditioner wasn't working either, and I took it back to them. And what they found out, it wasn't really the AC or the compressor or anything like that. There was something that wasn't grounded properly in the van.
Wire.
Yeah, something wasn't grounded properly, and basically they fixed that. They got it grounded, and I haven't had problems with the AC since then. They actually just put back in the original one. And also there's some other things that we could show you guys just looking around the van, things that weren't here. I know over by the big sliding door there was a blind that wasn't there. We've got that there now.
Right, the shade was missing.
Yeah, what else?
Which was replaced. The bathroom was missing the toilet paper holder, the shower head, and I think the French drain. Yeah,
so, and we've got all of those.
Yep.
And whatever needed to be installed, I believe that Coachmen sent those things to us, and then Sunshine State RV installed most of those things, which, it's completely fine. I think we did have a problem with the sink. The way that the sink folds up, there was, to me, it seemed to hold water, and you'd have to tip it up in order to drain it.
Yes, it wasn't draining.
But when we actually were in Indiana, we were complaining to them about that, and they took a look at it, and I think there was something wrong with the drain or something blocking the drain, and they fixed that. So
as well. Yeah, I mean, overall, any issues we've had that have come up have been really dealt with quickly, without any kind of pushback. Just, whatever it is, they've taken care of. Either Coachmen or Sunshine, both have been, really wonderful.
Yeah.
So far as this purchase goes.
So, I mean, some of that is bad, right? You want to get your van, you want it to be perfect. I know people ask me about that because they think that maybe you can buy a van from somewhere. I don't think you could buy anything these days and it's going to be perfect. And the thing about it is that this is literally a house. So if you've bought a house, just think, even if you built a house brand new.
Even when it's brand new and you buy
we've done that and there's still been problems. Yeah. So there's always something that you're like, oh, this isn't, I don't like this is not working properly, this is not how I want it to be. I think all of those issues were addressed for us. The big thing I would say inside of here is because of these windows, like there's 2 big windows around us, and I was talking about the windows on the outside. And because this is a rear bath, so the bath is over here on this side, it's a bigger bath. Like you were looking, while we were running around today, Lola was looking at a different model, I think a D, which has 2 benches across from each other, but they're all the way in the back, and then the bathroom
was up
front. I think if you have that, the bathroom is smaller, and then it blocks some of the windows.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And when you really look at it, like right here, there's a wall right here, but on the outside of that, it looks like glass. So that might be insulated behind there, and you can't see it. And there's some other places, but mostly having these big windows open means that you're either going to get the cold in, or you're going to get the heat in through that. Yeah. So the big thing, I think, now obviously, if you look here, there's shades.
Right.
And these shades have some level of
insulation.
Yeah, or reflector or something on them.
They help with the amount of light that comes in and heats up the coach.
Yeah, it does.
But overall, I wouldn't do it with the windows. I love the windows. I think it brings the outside in. It makes it feel more open and spacious. Yes, it brings both cold and heat, but that's okay.
Yeah. So what we wound up doing is making black. What is it?
Blackout curtains.
Blackout curtains. Yeah, we did blackout curtains, and we put. We've got one in the back door, one up front to separate the cabin, one that goes at that door. However, from what I see other people do, people put them all over the windows.
Yes.
And then definitely a place that light bleeds in is the max fan and the air conditioner. So ultimately, I would cover those, and I would even do something for the windows
as we've seen other owners have done.
Yeah. And my big thing about that is, well, I think first of all, we did not such a great job of the blackout curtains that we did. But what I would be looking for is, I think there's a couple of companies that we're looking at that make some things you can put on there, and I think I'm probably going to buy those and put those in.
Yes, I think so. I think that'll be one of the upgrades that we're going to look into, is get some better made shades to go in here. Some with color to make the place feel a little bit more lively. So we'll look into that and share that with you guys, whatever it is we decide to do.
I think it's too bad that it doesn't come with it. I've seen some other vans that do have some things around the windows that you can easily unzip and then maybe roll up and have down here at the bottom. Yeah. And I think that would be great if we could do something like that. But this doesn't really have it, and it's not like a big thing for me. Not. What's the other issues when it comes to the inside that you have?
I mean, I think that's it. I don't have any issues with the inside. I mean, space is a thing, but this is a B. So you know that going into it, that you can't bring everything with you. And I think that in the 4 months that we've been in it, we've learned to minimize what we bring and carry with us. So that's all good.
Space. You can't get around that. Just the whole idea of what a Class B van is, you can't get around that. And the advantage is, I think, to having the van, just everything fits within this shell, to me, outweigh the whole space issue.
Oh, yeah. The ability to go anywhere, park anywhere, it's all great. I mean, you can pull up anywhere and not call too much attention to yourself as being a big RV. So
I mean, it just looks like a van. It's if someone knows what they're looking at, obviously they can tell it's a camper van. When we went to have dinner, there was a transit van parked right next to us. And it's not that, like, we could tell, and yes, other people could tell, but it's kind of common to see the van. So I think you do have somewhat of stealth. I don't want to say it's super stealth. To me, I think it's a good trade-off. So you just learn, like, you don't need those things.
Well, speaking about trade-offs, that brings me to, why we bought this in the first place. Right? Why did we get this in the first place?
Well, the big thing that it is my studio. So, and then after that, it's my studio. I do the podcast out of the van. Yeah, but when I'm on the road, because I do a lot of traveling, like outside of us just trying to be on the road, vacationing, it makes it easier for me. I don't really like traveling that much by airplane these days.
Right.
I don't have any fear or anything like that of it. I've been doing it for a long time. I'm just not very happy with the service or the massive lack thereof when you're flying. So I don't really want to do that unless I have to. So it eliminates that for me, although it takes a little bit longer to travel if you're going on the other side of the country. And then it eliminates the need for hotels as much.
Right.
I think that we would probably still use hotels under certain circumstances.
Every now and then, maybe.
Yeah. But we've done several trips where we never stayed in a hotel. Maybe we went somewhere and we had a bunch of friends that had a big house, and when we did that, we just used the bathroom in there to shower.
Just to shower.
That's it. And then we hung out with our friends, and at night when everyone was trying to figure out,
where they were going to stay,
who's getting what room or whatever. Yeah. So,
and that was pretty cool. So far as where we've gone in the 4 months with this camper, how we got those 10,000 miles. We went to, your first trip was to Uvalde, Texas.
Yeah, I went out to Texas on my own, and I did stay in a hotel when I got there because the guys, the event that I was doing, they had a hotel for me. I would have probably been more comfortable staying in the van, but it was good to get like a nice hot shower.
Yep.
So and that was a pretty, I think on my own it was an easy trip to do. I think we did a trip together after that where I had like that big table in here.
Yes.
And that didn't work.
Yes, that was a trip
down
to, I think, Leesburg, Florida we went. And at the time, because we had just moved from the office space, we were still trying to use a bigger table to support all the computers. Well, that didn't work. So that's
where I learned the lesson. If it's not small and lightweight, it doesn't need to be in the van.
Yeah, it was tough to sleep on my side. After that, we went to South Carolina.
Yes, we went to South Carolina. We didn't have that, and I think we never used a hotel on that trip at all. And where we were staying, so as I said before, this is already a little bit of overlander to me. And we stayed on a big range, and that range was very muddy. It was raining.
Right.
And we never got stuck or anything like that, although some other people did get stuck out there.
That's right.
So now there wasn't, we didn't have any hookups, so we didn't have water or sewer or anything like that. So what we did was there was a place that we paid them like $10.
Right. And we were able to go there twice.
Yeah, we could. They told us we can go there as many times as we wanted to. It's basically a campground for RVs, and they were like, "Yeah, pay us $10 as long as you're in town. You can come up here." And we went there about twice, and we actually did our dumping and filling up and all that while
at
we're
that
out
location.
there. So no hotels. It just cost
on
us
that
the
trip.
$10.
Yep.
And
so
travel.
then back to Florida, and then we recently took another big trip where we went from Florida to Georgia.
Yeah.
To Alabama.
Well, before that, I did like an event with my friends. It was a military vehicle thing.
Oh, you did do
You
that.
weren't on that one.
I was not.
And that was great because my friends were really roughing it out there
And that was
tents
like
and stuff.
that was like in the St. Augustine area.
Close to, like between here and St. Augustine. We've done a bunch of trips here in Florida. So we've gone out and stayed. Like one of my friends at his where he has his shop. We stayed out there. We did all kinds of stuff. We've gone all over Florida, I think, at this point.
Well,
relatively. We haven't gone to the Keys or anything like that.
Or to Miami, but we did leave Florida and we did go up to Georgia, like I said, from Georgia to Alabama. And then we stopped in Kentucky. And then we went to Indiana, then Missouri, and then back. So, I mean, overall, that's how the 10,000 miles were accrued.
Yeah. And in that trip, like I said, in Georgia, we stayed with some friends had a house. We stayed outside. We used their shower. We went to Alabama. We stayed with your brother overnight.
That's right.
And then for the rest of that trip, we were in the van. You know, we wound up all the way in Missouri doing something before we came back. To me, the van has been worth it. So one, I'm saving money because I'm not paying for my studio space that I was renting.
The office space, yeah.
Yeah, and then we traded in also a pickup truck that we had to get this. So I think we're saving money there, but it's just, and we're saving money from not using hotels. But it really the convenience of just not worrying about that. You could just pull over, not necessarily anywhere. I think we stayed the most in like Cracker Barrels.
We did.
Yeah, we did the Harvest Host thing, but we stayed in one place. I don't find Harvest Host to be super useful.
It was
difficult. It's not always convenient for what you want to do, but we used it like one time so far.
We did. We've used it one time so far.
Yeah, but you could stay in rest stops and get enough rest to keep going. You can stay at a Cracker Barrel at night and do that.
It's been very dependable.
Yeah.
Very reliable.
And there's some other things, like on our travels, we've stayed in Walmart parking lots.
We have done that. Yeah, we did.
Home Depot and Lowe's.
We did do that.
So it's convenient for that. Yeah. And I don't really, like, I don't think there was any kind of issues we had.
No.
Like doing that overnight.
No,
so.
and I think in the 10,000 miles, I mean, we haven't had any mechanical issues whatsoever with this van. It's been flawless, really. It hasn't stranded us anywhere. It's just pretty much run. So I have nothing to say, negatively so far as functionality. It's functioned.
Yeah, gas mileage hasn't really been too bad as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Although yes, it's 13 miles per gallon. It's a big tank. It's a 25-gallon tank. But the super convenience out of it has really been great. I mean, I remember there was one time recently that so I was driving the van, Lola was driving her Tesla, but we had gone and done something. I think probably when we went to see my friends, because I went out there first and Lola drove out there. On the way back, we decided, like, we pulled into a Wawa or something like that for me to get gas, and then we realized that they had a charger for the Tesla. So we got lunch, and we were able to sit in the van while it was pouring rain, and we just had like a nice little lunch, and it didn't feel like
while the Tesla was charging.
Yeah,
that was.
And we had everything at our hands, we need napkins, or you need a thing for So really great. I think we're probably I think we've shared a lot of that with people. I think the ugliest things of it for a lot of people would probably be what we paid.
Well,
right?
I mean, yes. I mean, this is a mortgage, without a doubt.
We're looking. What was the van? What did this van shake out to be? About $150,000.
Yeah, it was. It was about 150 something. We also did get the extended warranty. Added to it when we purchased.
That's about $4,000.
That was $4,000.
Yes. So
and then of course we
put down about $25,000. We have a 15-year loan. I think some people do between 15 and 20 years on these kinds of things, and so it's about $1,000 a month for people who have to know. I don't know if that's going to exactly equate to everyone for that. I think it really comes down to what kind of deals. This is all kinds of stuff. But that's roughly what we're paying. I've seen people with these vans like, oh, you can get this van for $500 a month. I don't know. That could be true if you put down enough money.
Maybe used.
No, it was brand new.
I'm saying $500 a month if you're buying it used.
No, this particular one was brand new, and they were advertising it as that. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't want to say that's not true. I would say that it depends on what kind of deal we don't know, like what kind of deal that are they offering there, how much money you're putting down, how many months it is, and all that kind of stuff. But typically, banks, including ours, we use a credit union. They look at this as a mortgage or like on a second home kind of a deal. So you do have to put an incredible amount of money down, which you don't really have to do for cars.
No.
Necessarily. But to me, that $1,000 a month really balances out for me personally. I think if you're buying it and you're only traveling on the weekends or only every now and then, every couple of months you're going somewhere, I don't know, depends on your situation, it may not. If you're living in it full time, it's not so bad. For me, I'm working in it full time, so at least 5 days a week I'm working. I'm physically in the van working, and then I use it when I go on the road, and then of course we can use it when Lola and I are doing just like a leisure trip. I don't know if we actually even do any such thing.
So far every trip has been business.
Yeah, Lola gets time off from work, and then she has to come work with me.
Yeah, pretty much. So I mean, I'm really looking forward to the day where it would just be a leisure trip, where we go out to, the lake somewhere, we actually cook and grill outside and actually enjoy the van life. But for now, it's been mostly business trips, which have all still been, it's been fun. We've done things.
Yeah, I think, so the reason why I put that in the ugly side of all of this is just that some people, they're not going to spend that much money. I think you can get into a van, brand new. These vans started around $80,000, and that was the price, because that's all going up.
$80,000 before the coach side?
No, 80,000. Well, this is a bigger van. This is 22 feet. This is all-wheel drive. If you're being a Ford, right? So if you're looking at a ProMaster, The vans built on the ProMasters are $75,000-$80,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but now that's ticking up, and then the vans on the Sprinter side are from somewhere like 170,
Oh, yeah, I know those are expensive.
200,000,
Yeah.
250, $300,000. It all. The thing about this, and what to me makes it ugly, is there's people who cannot afford that. There's people who can't afford it. I don't know if that. I don't look at that like as an ugly thing, but I think it becomes an issue for some people when they're like, "Oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do." To me personally, for us, it works out because we're spending this kind of money to have an office space anyway.
Right.
And one of the things is I was noticing that I wasn't in that office/studio space all the time.
No, you weren't. If you traveled, which you were on the road a lot, you
Right.
weren't there. We were
So-
still paying for it.
Yeah, I'm not there. I'm still paying for the space. Then I'm paying for a hotel, and I'm paying to fly. So for me, it works out. It's just not going to be the same for everyone. Even the insurance, like we've got 2 boys who are 21 and 22 years old on our insurance because they still live at home.
Right.
So our insurance is going to be different from your insurance.
Yeah.
I don't think ours is drastically.
It's
Did it
not-
go up big time?
No, it didn't.
So
It didn't. They're pretty good drivers, so
I think that it's somewhere between $250-$300 range.
yeah, that's
Just for this van
just
on
for
its
the van
own?
right. For
So-
the insurance. For the
I don't know.
insurance Side.
That is just going to be one of those things that's going to be different for everyone. If you want to know, I think that's why we're talking about this stuff. I don't know if everyone talks about the financing and blah 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 blah. Right?
Right.
That's up to people. I think that's so let me ask you this. Just to have something here to wrap this up, what's the biggest thing that you like about the van? Having gone through all the things, what's the biggest thing that you like? So you say the biggest thing, I'll say the biggest thing.
The biggest thing that I like about this van is what I've already said, that we can go anywhere and be anywhere for the most part and be able to find parking. Parking hasn't been an issue at all. And it's just, I just like it for that. I like the size. So I guess the size.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that in my biggest thing. And the only thing I would add to it, I feel like a turtle, not in a bad way. I feel like a turtle in that my house is on my back, right? Like,
okay,
your house is on your back, and I can move easily in this. I can drive this. I'm not going to say just as easily as I drive the R8, for example, but I can drive this just as easily as any big SUV that
That's
we've had vans already.
Right.
And big SUVs and pickup trucks, and this is right in that category, except as Lola's saying, it's so super convenient that, we can just go anywhere. Like, sometimes I'm not even used to it in my brain. Like, wait, it doesn't really matter. We could just crash out here right now if we're tired.
Or that you have a bathroom in here. You don't have to worry about going
so
to
big,
a rest stop or anything like that.
Right, big thing. Worst thing.
The worst thing. Well,
Yeah,
that's a tough one because
what's the worst thing?
I would, you know what? I think I would have said at the beginning and probably still feel the same way, is not being able to take long showers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's my thing.
So the heating system in here, I think it's the Truma. There's some of these things that we have to take time to learn, and I won't blame it so much on the van or anything like that. I think they're relatively easy things. It's just that, with so many things that you have to learn about this, you don't think about it until you have to do it. So setting up heat in general in here is easy, right? Because you set it and you do it. Now the water thing, though, the water tank is a completely different thing, and the tank that's actually getting heated up is about 3 gallons or something like that. Yeah. So if it's really cold and you want to take a hot shower, like, you got one person has to go take that shower, and you're going to go through those 3 gallons in your shower time, and then the other person needs to wait like a good half hour to go take a shower.
Heat back up again.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, so that's if you're worried about that. I think for us being in Florida, it is really hot here.
Well, right now,
so I don't really need a hot
shower. Right now, it doesn't matter. Right now, I would just hop in there as is because it's so
get
hot
a cold
and mucky.
shower. Yeah.
But when we were up north in Indiana and it was cold, I did really desperately want a hot shower.
Yeah. And you can't have, whether you're having a cold or hot shower, you can't do it for 10, 20 minutes.
Exactly.
So you really need to do it. And I think with the two of us, we found that like in about 2-3 days ish, even of being miserly with it, we need to refill that tank. We need to dump and refill.
Right, we need to dump the gray because the gray also fills up fast, and we need to refill it. So
yeah, the black not so fast.
No. So I would still say, I would still say the shower. The shower is still my thing.
It's like it's a mobile. It's a home that's moving. It's in a van. That's not a big inconvenience relative to. I say the same thing.
Oh, the shower. Okay.
That's the biggest thing for me. I mean, I thought maybe you'd say the fridge. The fridge is smaller. It doesn't bother me because all I need is drinks.
Yeah, the fridge doesn't
bother me. We eat out in restaurants. We have never cooked in here, right? Have we ever cooked anything?
No, I have used the microwave once.
Yeah, Lola does like to cook.
Never turned on the stove. We use the fridge obviously all the time. I would love to be able to cook in here because I do enjoy cooking. But from other people that I've talked with, it's probably best to cook outside on something else than in here.
Right.
And that's probably a video for another time. I'm not going to get into all the details as to
and probably another thing with that, I think, which goes back to the space. I wish that, like, so I hang stuff off of the cabinets, which I can show you guys. I have these twisties that go on the cabinet to hang a lot of things off of that. I wish there was more hooks through the van so I can hang up more stuff. Obviously, I wish there were more cargo nets in different places. There's lots of empty spaces here that I think that would be great. Like, there's like a little space right here. There's another one. There's another one. I can see like 3 or 4 of them there, and it would be great if you had little, just little nets. So even on the roof. I think in the cockpit or in the cabin driving, there's a lot of space up there that it would be great to have, like a little bag here, a little bag there. It would be great if those things came with the van. It doesn't make me mad. I'm definitely looking for some of those alternatives.
Those are definitely something we're looking to add more storage.
I don't just to like do a story to wrap this up. When I was moving out, and Lola is always supportive of all the crazy stuff I want to do. When I was moving out of my space to this, when the final day where I was like, oh, that's it. The people there didn't want me to leave. And I was like, man, what am I doing? I'm actually going to go into a van? What's going to happen? And there are inconveniences. If something has to get fixed on this van, I pretty much have to shut down whatever I'm doing in the van because everything is set up to function in the van, right? So I was like, wow, what are you doing? This is crazy. And I really did. There was at the last moment when I had to do it, there was like a oh shucks moment. But since then, my feeling on it is I should have done it a long time ago.
Yeah, we haven't looked back since.
Yeah, so I'm really happy. I don't know. Do you
I've got no complaints whatsoever, really. I've enjoyed the 4 months and the places we've gone and the flexibility it's given us. And I'm looking forward to the next 10,000 miles. So
I think for the rest of my life, in one form or another, I'm going to have a van like this. So I really do look forward to that. And this one I'm going to have for a long time. We're at like 4 or 5 months in. I think
4 months.
Yeah, so I think we're definitely going to have this particular van for at least the next 3 years, if not longer than that. I enjoy the whole van life. I enjoy meeting all the people, the community that comes out of it, everything. So I know that this is probably going a little long. I'll try to cut it down for everyone. But yeah, this has been awesome. The 10,000 miles, I think, is just the first. I think we'll hit another 10,000 miles soon enough. We've got some other trips coming up that we're going to share with everyone. And, I hope that this helps the folks. I know right now it's really tough for people to buy these vans, even if they wanted to. Even if you wanted to maybe not spend as much money as we did and buy your own van and then build it into this, which is still going to be a lot of money. Probably still going to put some serious money into it unless you just get a cheap van from somewhere. And
Well, yeah, I mean, after doing those factory tour videos we've done recently and seeing what all goes into this, I'm glad that we just bought one instead of trying to build one, because then we would never have gotten on the road. We would still be building it.
Yeah.
So again, I'm happy about this buy.
No regrets. No regrets.
Fine, no regrets.
No regrets.
regrets.
No regrets. You don't know what
Okay.
that. You know what that
No,
means.
I don't know what it's from. But-
There's a guy that has like a tattoo, and it says "no regrets."
Oh, it's misspelled.
Yes, misspelled.
Okay, I'm with
So
you.
that's my mantra. Yeah, I don't have any regrets about this. It's been awesome. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos that we do with this. We're actually planning on doing more stuff, so look forward to see this morph into a little bit more of an overlander and us do. We've got so many videos right now that we've already shot that we're going to share with you guys, and ones that we're planning. I think I was trying to say that it's tough for people out there trying to get into this now, so I know a lot of people are looking at these videos and getting ideas and all that. And I really want to say, don't worry so much. If you want to do it, jump into it if you can. If you've got to wait some time for your van, don't stress yourself out. Enjoy that time, and when you do it, enjoy it also. And if it's not for you, it's still probably going to be really good timing to get out. If we wanted to get out, we could get out right now and get our money back.
And then some, probably.
Yeah, but we're not going to do it.
No.
So, I think that's it, Lola. How do you want to wrap this up? I'll let you go.
Well,
I've talked more than you.
Well, it's been 10,000 great miles, I will say, and 4 awesome months of getting out on the road and doing things we would otherwise probably not have done, or done it in the way we have had the opportunity to do. So,
Yeah.
Overall, I'm enjoying this, and stay tuned. We will share all of our adventures with you guys out there, the upgrades that we have planned, the trips we have planned, and again, leave your comments below. Let us know if there's any questions that you would like to know that we didn't answer,
Right.
and just share your comments with us. We enjoy reading them and getting ideas from you guys, as well as us sharing our ideas with you.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone who helps us. There's folks in the users groups that have helped us, and there's family and friends that have helped us, and there's all the people at Sunshine State RV that are always helping us out, as well as the folks at Coachmen, who are always helping us out, and we
Very
appreciate that.
Yep.
Yes. So thanks so much, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this. Smash the thumbs ups and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.